All right, so this is lesson 57. We'll talk about the aftermath of Jesus' miracle of raising Lazarus. So John chapter 11, starting at verse 45. Again, if you look back, verse 43, Jesus tells Lazarus to come forth. Verse 44, he comes out. Jesus has to remind the people, by the way, take his grave clothes off. Okay? He's alive. So verse 45, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forth they took counsel together for to put him to death. Jesus therefore walked no more openly among the Jews, but went thence unto a country near to the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim, and there continued with his disciples. And the Jews' Passover was nigh at hand, and many went out of the country up to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. Then sought they for Jesus, and spake among themselves as they stood in the temple, what think ye, that he will not come to the feast? Now both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a commandment that if any man knew where he were, he should show it, that they might take him. Let's take a look at these verses here. Okay. The miracles are done. Lazarus is raised from the dead. You can imagine word like that would spread like wildfire. Everybody would be talking to everybody. Remember, when Jesus went out, or when Mary went out to meet Jesus, a multitude of Jews followed her thinking she was going to the grave. So when Jesus did this, it was witnessed by probably a rather large crowd. You can imagine them running back to the cities, right, to tell their families. I mean, when you've got information like that, you can't get in the house fast enough, and the words can't even get out of your mouth fast enough, and everyone's got to tell you, now slow down. Slow down, right? So you could imagine some young boy running into his house to tell mom and dad what he had just seen. And of course, initially, what are mom and dad going to think when they hear the boy, their son, come into the house telling this big story? Kenton? Oh man, here he goes again. He's telling more stories, or he doesn't know what he's talking about, or oh, I hope he wasn't out drinking wine and drunk and filling up fabricating stories. But as the story was corroborated by more and more and more people, they're all also saying they saw the same thing. The news begins to spread even more and more, right? Every person knows. Of course, the Jewish leaders now what are we going to do? The popularity of this man is so large right now, we're going to get in trouble. They say that there. All men are going to believe on him. They're going to make him a king and a ruler, and they won't care what the Roman emperor says over there in Rome. They're going to follow this man because he is making blind people to see. He's bringing dead people to life. He can turn 5 loaves and 2 fishes and feed a multitude of tens of thousands of people. We're in trouble. Because we are the leaders here right now. We've got a special place. And if this man ruins it, the Romans are going to come sweeping in with their army, take us out of our position, probably kill us or put us in prison, go after that man Jesus, kill him anyways, so that they can maintain their rule over this land. Well, if Jesus is going to die anyways, and if we're going to die anyways, well, let's solve the problem right now and capture this Jesus and put him to death, get him out of the way, and then we can maintain our position of leadership here in Israel. That's what they're thinking. Now look what Caiaphas says. Okay? And I asked that question. Caiaphas, the high priest, didn't want all of Israel to perish at the hand of the Romans, because they had come sweeping in if Jesus was made king and do that. Instead, God uses the words he meant as a curse, as a blessing. So let's see what Caiaphas says here. Okay? That one man should perish, should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. How is Caiaphas prophesying about the work of Jesus here? How is that talking about Jesus? Faith? So how many people had to die, Faith? One person, so that how many could be saved? Yes, a nation. The nation of men, of God's elect people, were saved by the death of one man. Okay? And Caiaphas goes on and says those things. Now Caiaphas is trying to say, one man should die, Jesus, so that the whole nation of Israel here will be saved. Because if he doesn't die, the Romans are going to come in and wipe us all out. That's what he's intending to say. But God using him makes that a blessing. Who else in the Bible? Especially, there's one great instance we can think of where a man comes specifically to curse, 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 and instead blessing, blessing, blessing pours forth out of his mouth. Micah? Not Barabbas. He was a thief you're thinking of. It starts with a B, and it starts with an A. Balaam, right, that's what the rest of you guys had there, right? Balaam. Okay, Balaam was hired to curse. Didn't work. No matter what he said, it always came out as a blessing. Okay? That's what Caiaphas is doing here. But we see the hatred of the Jewish leaders towards Jesus. And now think of this, how fast this is going to change. All of these people, probably a good majority of them, would make Jesus king right now. They would set him on such a high pedestal. His popularity is through the roof among the regular people. And yet, in just a short time, what are all of them going to want to do? All of them are going to hate him and do what to him? Kenton? What are they going to do in just a short time to Jesus, all the Jews? Condemn him to death. Right. They're going to spit on him. They're going to mock him and call him names up on that cross. Oh, if thou be the Son of God, take thyself down off that cross. They didn't know what they'd be saying. So how quickly the tide can turn here. Okay. All right, let's continue on here. Okay. We see the hatred, okay, for Jesus. They're contemplating, will he come to the Passover feast or not? Maybe we can catch him there. All the word goes out to amongst the leaders, so probably you could think of all the town rulers and all of the town, if they have like a police or constable, that type of thing. The word is out. If you see Jesus, you capture him, you put him under arrest, and you bring him to us, the leaders of the Jews, the Pharisees and Sanhedrin. Okay? Now, go to Luke chapter 18, verse 1. So please turn in your Bibles there to Luke chapter 18. And Jesus is going to give a parable here. Ready? Luke chapter 18. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men might always to pray and not to faint. So what is Jesus' purpose here in this parable? It says that this parable, its purpose is for, Emma? Prayer. Okay, this is a parable, or prayer parable. So we need to learn from it too about our prayers. Okay, so let's see what we can learn here. Verse 2, saying, there was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded man. So he doesn't care about very many people. There was a widow in that city. And she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary. Let's get some words figured out here. What's an adversary? Garrett, another word? Enemy. What does it mean to avenge as opposed to revenge? What does revenge mean? If you get revenge, what are you doing? Kenton? getting back at him. Faith trips me, I get revenge by tripping her. What does it mean to avenge someone? What does it mean to avenge someone? Got an idea or guess, Faith?
Forgive them.
Nope, not to forgive them. God says to you and me, don't you get revenge, let me be the avenger. To avenge means faith trips me. I fall down. Now, revenge means I go right back to her and do something mean. Let's say when I fall down, I break my nose and off I'm taken to the hospital, so I'm not around, but my buddy Grant over here is not real happy with Faith, so he comes and he trips her so that she falls down and breaks her nose and goes to the hospital. In other words, I didn't get revenge, but he helped me do it, so he avenged for me. Avenge means you need someone else to come and give the punishment. Okay? So instead of you getting them back, you hire or ask or find someone to get them back. Sin, obviously, for me to do that or for Grant to do that. Not sin for God. Okay? When someone does something evil to you, God says, don't get them back. Instead, know that I will get them back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at the end of all time, they will be paying in hellfires. Tormented there, God says, I will get them back. So that's what avenge means. So this widow is coming to this judge, saying to the judge, please avenge me. In other words, there's somebody causing trouble in my life, and I need you to get them back for me. Okay? Get rid of this troublemaker in my life, or take care of him, deal with him. So continuing on, verse 4, and he would not for a while. So this is the judge. The judge would not for a while. But afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. So initially, what did the judge say to the woman? Megan? Well, actually, no, that's not what he said initially, Kenton. No. But then she consistently and constantly comes to him so that it's a bother to him, a thorn in the side of his flesh. He wants to get rid of it. So he said, well, fine, whatever. I'm going to do what this woman says just to get rid of her. Not because it's the right thing to do, but because he wants her to leave him alone. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge says. So here's the meaning. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that were righteous, and despised others. Okay? The widow here is God's church. It's you and me on this earth suffering persecution. Okay? The unjust judge is the wicked world around us. Okay, who come and do harm to us, or would do harm to us, or cause trouble or difficulties in our lives. Okay? If the church is the widow, what makes someone a widow, Joe? Widower would be wife. So widow means they lost their husband. Who is the church's husband? Kenton? Christ. Where is Christ? Garrett? Heaven. In a sense, in a physical sense, he has gone away from us. God is always with us, and Jesus is God. But in a sense, the picture that Jesus is making is, I have gone away from my church. I won't be down on this earth anymore to do miracles or to punish like you've seen me done. God's not going to cause the earth to open up and swallow up some wicked people like he did Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. He's not going to send fire down from heaven anymore to burn up those Baal worshippers like he did. Instead, Jesus is teaching here, for a time, the widow is going to suffer. from the world. The world's going to be mean to my people. We really don't see that today too much, do we? You can kind of get your way. But down the road, there will be suffering and trials and difficulties more and more. And because of that, what should we do? We're the church. We're the widow. What should we do? What does this parable teach us? Micah? Pray to God unceasingly that He deliver us from those troubles and that He punish the unjust world. There you go. Some people don't like to pray that. Well, I don't like to pray that God does things, No, there's nothing wrong with praying that God, I pray that the unjust world is punished for their sins and iniquities, that they know what's wrong. And God will do that. He says, I will avenge the mean things that they do to you at the end of time. When they go to hell and they suffer there, they won't enjoy it very much. Okay? So know that I am doing that. Okay? So that's the beauty of it. Okay? I asked there, who might be the widow, the unjust judge, now the husband? You guys have got that. Okay? Verse 7 there, the crying day and night means we are constantly in prayer to God. Okay? God always hears our prayers. Okay? God will always answer our prayers when we go to Him. It might not be right away, it might not be immediate, but God loves His children. Okay? And then He says there, let me find that verse 7, though He bear long with them. Okay? It seems to me sometimes, and that's my own problem that I've got to fix in myself, boy, it seems it takes God a long time to answer. Maybe He's not answering. No, God is answering. I have to be patient and know I have to be long-suffering. We'll do that later this week in Fruits of the Spirit, but long-suffering. We need to be patient. We need to know that God may not punish my neighbor who mocks me every Sunday when I walk past. Hey, going to church, yeah, waste time. Hey, why don't you do this? Or I'm not going to go throw eggs at his house. Do something ridiculous and mean. Okay? Hopefully you guys wouldn't do that too. You'd be tempted in high school. Oh, let's go do this. I'll teach him a lesson. God says, I will take care of the problem. I will avenge for you. You suffer. You be patient and be long-suffering. I will take care of the problem in the end. Okay? So, the world, the wicked world, is going to try to destroy us. We see that in the world around us right now. Maybe we get a little bit worried when we see divorce and remarriage. We see homosexuality rampant through the nation that we live in and all around the world. We see people getting away with a lot of things. Okay? There is just, for an example, let's say, we'll give Megan over there. Megan's she's going to run a cake decorating company. She's going to use her artistic talents to make nice, beautiful cakes. Okay, well, there was in the news a little while ago, a gay couple went to a cake making company and said, we want a wedding cake, but we want it to have these designs and we're having a gay wedding. And the cake maker said, no. Oh, sorry, we won't do that. Okay. Well, now that company and other companies are in hot water because of that, because they refused to sell their goods or do work on behalf of this gay couple. So Megan could do that, and she would get in trouble for that. Now the reverse is, what if we as Christians came and asked for a cake that maybe said something positive about what we believe, that if we went to a cake company and they refused to make it, would the whole nation get on their side as well? Probably not. So we see those things, and it's probably become more and more and more in our lives where we face some of those difficulties and troubles. So, anyways, pray to God unceasingly, without end, that He can help us with those troubles. Okay? So that's an example for us. When the world persecutes us or when things aren't going great, always pray to God. We know that already, but it's being re-emphasized here by Jesus. Okay? And also, obviously, we can see the hypocrisy of the Jews here, how one day they love Jesus and now soon they're going to hate Him. But we can't think of ourselves any higher, because if we had been there, we all would have done the same thing. We would have been gung-ho one day, and the next day we would have been spitting and cursing at Jesus too. Right? You do all these great things, but he can't come down that cross. Well, now who does he think he is? I guess maybe it wasn't real miracles that he did. So we need to be careful of that too.